Thank you all for joining us on our stream, our live stream. Thank you all who are in the audience. We definitely welcome you all to our Know Your Right session today. And we're going to get started with some exercises, some breathing, brought to you by Hatchers. So Roy, if you would come up and join us today.
We're gonna show you guys some of our warm-up exercises that we do in Systema. Primarily, we focus on 4 pillars of life and health: breathing being the first, then your posture, staying calm and relaxed, and then movement. And movement is constant. There are a lot of different things that you can do at home that will help strengthen your mind and your body. And those things will help to connect your mind and your body so that if you need to use your body to protect yourself, you can do it at a very high effective level. First, we'll just start off with a mindfulness exercise, just to give you an example, because most people think that just because they're alive, that they're breathing correctly, and that's not the case. So we want to be very purposeful in our breathing, starting off in through the nose and out from the mouth. So just everybody, if you can just do this exercise with me. So just kind of sit, stand, lie down, wherever you're at, and start to slowly breathe in through the nose and allow the air to go up into the body, down into the lungs, and then slowly start to exhale out from the mouth. And just continue to breathe just like that, and I'm going to talk you through where your focus should be. So as you inhale, I want you to imagine that your body is a vacuum, right? And so you want to allow the air to come in from all parts of your body, your head, your chest, your back, your legs, your arms. As you inhale, you should use visualization, feel the air coming in from all parts of your body like a vacuum. And then when you exhale, your body becomes like a leaf blower or a fan, and it starts to push the air back out from all parts of your body. So just inhale and exhale. Just sit, stand, lie down, wherever you're at. Now if you're driving, that's different. But if you're driving, you shouldn't be watching this, right? So sit, stand, lay down, wherever you're at, and just focus on your breath. Your breath and feeling your body only. Don't think about anything. Don't worry about anything. We'll just do that for maybe 20 seconds. In through your nose, out from your mouth. In through your nose, feeling the air coming in from all parts of your body. Out from your mouth, feeling the air leaving all parts of your body. What this exercise does is it brings you into what is called mindfulness, right? There's this huge movement to be mindful. And what mindfulness does is it allows you to focus on a specific task, whatever it may be, at a very high level. You don't allow your mind to be split all over the place. You're able to focus and get things accomplished. So how does that play a role into self-defense, right? If an attacker were to try to grab you or harm you, and before he does it, I'm gonna set you up too. So he's grabbing or whatever, and then you don't tell me when, but you do whatever too, right? So just as an example, if you get focused on, and the attackers really represent a problem in life, right? So the concept behind Systema is very different from any other martial art, any other fitness program, anything else that you do, because it encompasses and covers all facets and areas of life. I'm just going to use these guys as an example, but it could be work, it could be relationship, it could be anything that you're dealing with in life. If you're focused too heavily on the one thing, other things can come in and divert your focus. If you're able to stay calm, you're able to split your focus and still be able to handle things at a high level. So One guy comes and does whatever. I'm not gonna tell him what to do, right? So I'm moving and dealing with him, and if I get stuck doing this and then another guy comes in whenever, then I'm trapped, right? And I can't do a whole lot. But, so, back up. Start over. If you stay focused and in the moment, when those things come, you'll be able to handle those things much better, and then you can deal with whatever else comes. So the guy comes again, and I'm here and I'm focused. He's done. Yeah, then this one, he's done too. And it's fairly simple because your body stays active and in that moment. I'm not split, worrying about, oh, if he grabs this, if he touches that, if he pushes this here, oh, what's he doing? And you get that from being mindful. You get that. We don't have techniques. In Systema, there are no techniques, but there are principles. So, one being structure of the body. Structure of the body is the head over the hips over the ankles, the knees slightly bent forward, and the pelvis lightly tucked. When you have that sort of structure, it's very hard to break the body's strength or to put him down or what have you. But if the spine is compromised in any way, he can look down, he can look sideways, whatever, it doesn't matter. If the spine is compromised, even if he's twisted a little bit and the spine is compromised in any way, it makes the body very weak. Understanding that principle, if somebody grabs you, right, his structure is compromised. Mine is compromised right now because I'm showing you, but we really want to stay up. So if he grabs you, you want to stay up and then take his structure. And then taking his structure, boop, his body just goes. Same thing can be said for if they're trying to punch you. Same thing can be said for if they're trying to stab you. Same thing can be said if they're trying to hit you with a baseball bat. It doesn't matter, because in order for him to get to me, he has to give me his structure. He has to, and I have to maintain and keep my own. To have strong structure of the body, there are certain exercises that you can do on your own. You don't have to go to a gym, although I don't knock going to the gym. But you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to lift any weights. Body weight exercises are perfectly fine. Calisthenics are fantastic. Breathing is the key. So, really quick, let's do a push-up. So my guys will get down and do one on the knuckles, do one on the palms. So one of you guys knuckles, one of you guys palms, you pick. Okay, so if you do push-ups, rest for a sec. If you do push-ups on with your hands open, understand that you're causing stress and strain on the muscles of the forearm. So it's okay to do this a little bit, but ideally you do it on the knuckles because it helps to strengthen the wrist and keep the wrist straight, which is what you're going to need for when you're doing your strikes, when you're hitting something. And so another key component of the push-up, turn sideways this way, and get in the push-up. So I want them to see the flat back. No, turn sideways. Yeah. So you want the back to be flat. Now dip it down the wrong way. So, yeah. Most of the time people have like this kind of sway back thing going in their push-up. To offset this, if you're not strong enough in the core, bend your knees and then tuck your pelvis. You can have your knees down like this so that you build the strength to have the flat back. And the reason why you want to have the flat back is because in strengthening keeping the core engaged while doing this, it's the same thing as, stand up real quick. I'm just gonna run through a bunch of stuff because Systema is so huge, right? It's the same thing as when he's standing, having the core engaged when you're standing, having that flat back, so to speak, keeps the upper and lower body connected when you're moving. if I disengage at the hip, like a lot of people, most people when they stand, the hips kind of roll back like this, they're disconnected. You're disconnected. You might feel like you're strong, but you're working at a disadvantage. It's like half of you is able to do, and the other half is behind, or what have you. So just remember that, because we're going to come back to that in a second. Oh, perfect. So get down. Let's do the push-up real quick. Come on, Kimani. So nice flat back. When you go down, you want to connect your breath to the motion. So you inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Then as you go down, you want to inhale down. So go. And exhale, come up. The breath leads the motion. Inhale, down, exhale, up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now watch, you can switch the breathing. So inhale first, but don't go nowhere. Exhale down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and then just relax for a second, relax. So the point of this, right? If you would have gotten down and tried to do this exercise with us, chances are you would have done it like traditional, where it's, I'll do it, where you get down and you're like, that's usually how most people do exercises. And you can get quite strong that way, but it's damaging internally to the body. It's much better when you continue your breath for the whole motion. And that's in anything that you do. Opening the door, getting in and out your car, getting up and out of your bed. And all of these things translate into protecting yourself, believe it or not, because it's all movement. It's just movement. And the more efficiently you can move, the more efficiently you can do everything, including protecting yourself. So you want to be able to breathe while doing the work, and then you're not winded because you've never fallen behind. The workload didn't get too heavy on you, and that's usually what happens to most people. That's why people gas out. That's why people get stressed, because they're not breathing, believe it or not. So push-ups is one of our core exercises, and it's not to build muscle. It's to build connectivity to the breath, to the mind, and to the body. The next one is sit-ups. So you guys sit down again. And they're not the typical core crunching, strengthening type of exercises. Again, it's still based on using the breath to rise the body. So as you guys inhale, sit up. You do exhale coming up, you do inhale coming up, just as an example, because you can do either or. So go back. So you inhale, you exhale, come up, and then go back, and come up. If you'll notice, the legs are staying nice and straight. Keep going, I'm gonna just talk. The legs are staying nice and straight as they're coming up, and as they're going back, the heads are coming up and forward. They're not tucking their chin into their chest, and their backs are nice and straight as they come up, because that's all about structure. Right now you're training your body to have structure. And so if you are a senior individual, 60 or older, or if you are an athlete that has had any sort of injuries, or anybody that's had any sort of injuries, these sort of exercises are rehabilitative in their nature. So they're not building your large muscle fibers, but instead it's going in and it's building the proprioceptors and the tendons of the body. So now stay laid back. Another component to Systema and the floor is that a lot of older people that I've trained, when I initially have them get down on, or I ask them to get down on the floor, it's like, you want me to get down on the floor? Because as we get older, for whatever reason, we stop getting on the floor. People just stop getting down. And then when your grandma or something falls, it's very hard for her to get herself back up, right? And that the same thing is true for all of us. If you don't use it, you lose it. So Systema teaches you how to be at home on the floor, sitting in a chair, standing, wherever you're at. Your body becomes very comfortable and you can move efficiently wherever you're at. It doesn't really matter. So just to give you guys some floor exercises that you can do at home. You lie on your back. You already saw the sit-up, where it's just the breath that brings you up. You can even do whole body sit-up. So bring everything up together and breathe in and just bring everything. Oh, I'll do it. No, I got this thing on. You do it. So bring everything up together. Inhale, everything up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So the breath, the breath leads the motion. The breath. That way, when they're done, they're not winded, they're not tired. So now, walk sideways on your back. Walk this way. Walk that way. Walk this way. So then, if you watch the body, you can see, If you watch the body, you can see where they have freedom, and then they're using certain tension points of their body to allow them to move. Now, try to lay completely flat to the floor and do the same movements. Don't raise yourself off the floor at all. Go to the side. See, it's even less tension now. Go to the other side. And the breath is leading the motion. Go this way, or go down rather. Come up. Turn over on your stomach. No hands, yep. Turn back over. Turn the other way. Turn back over. Stop. Very simple exercise. Very simple. Seems like nothing until you get down and you try it. You get down and you try this work and you don't do the breathing that I'm telling you to do, you're going to be gassed. You're going to be winded, period. You get down and you do the breath with the movement as I'm telling you, you could do this all day. And that translates to you being able to do anything physical all day. For my guys, sex, breath is king. It'll take you through. For my women, stressing, breath gets rid of stress. And for sex, but we'll just leave that where it's at. So now, back row. And then front row. Very soft on a hard floor. You need to learn how to protect yourself going up and down. So now I just want you guys to just kind of walk and go up and go down. Just down and up, front row, back row, whatever. Just get to the floor, yeah, but be soft as you can. Soft as you can, right? Soft as you can. Keep going. Soft as you can. Breathe, soft as you can. It's not because they're young that they're able to do this, right? Keep going, soft as you can. Just breathe and move, breathe and move. I want to show you guys something. If I take, go ahead. If I'm in this way, I can move, but if I go to put him down, see how soft he goes? I come, I trip, whoop. Very soft. It's hard for him to hit the ground and hurt himself. You want to have your body to where if you trip, slip and fall, if somebody comes and grabs you and tries to put you somewhere, you can move very lightly, very softly, and that's how you're going to stay in control of your movement. If you'll grab one of the knives. Another exercise that you can do at home is squats. Typically, American squats, typically American squats, what you see is you go to the gym, you get the rack, and your butt goes back like this. You build this kind of bow with your body, and you come down, and then you push up, right? It's a lot of strain on the lumbar vertebra of the spine. Very, very bad for the lower back. Much better, if you're gonna use the weights, is to make sure that your hips are squared under your body. So you bring your feet all the way up under you, and you get on the machine that doesn't let you fall backwards. I don't know what the name of it is off the top of my head, but you'll go down, and then you'll just push the ground down as your body comes up. You go down and you push the ground, your hips shoot up under you, like so. And you go forward like this. That's how you do a proper squat. You know, that light got my eyes blind, I can't even see. Okay, cool. So we have push-ups, sit-ups, squats. Those are our 3 basic exercises. And out of those exercises, you can build, I don't know, millions of other exercises. You can do wall walking, right? Where you go to the wall and you move your body down the wall, you move your body back up the wall. You can do wall butterflies where you're just pushing up the wall like this. Simple stuff, but it'll build a very deep connection to yourself, to your mind, and to your body, because you're doing everything with breath, everything with breathing. Now for the martial component, right? So, can I see it first? So, with a knife, the safest part of the knife, it's a test I always ask people, but I'm gonna give you the answer, because you can't answer. The safest part of a knife blade is the flat of that blade. It's not the spine, because some knives are double-sided. So the safest part of the blade is the flat of the blade. And if a person ever approaches you, and this is the same thing for any blade, any razor or whatever, it's the flat of that blade. If somebody ever approaches you with a knife, my best advice is to run. If you can get away, get away. But if you're stuck against a wall in a corner and you can't, then your next option is to fight or die. And death is not an option, right? So you gotta fight. If you're gonna fight somebody with a knife, you have to be very intelligent about what you're doing, because a knife is one of the very first tools man ever made. You know, back from when we was using stones, sharp edges of stones to cut things. So this is a very dangerous, powerful tool. When the knife is coming towards the body, and this is something that you can do to practice at home. You take a butter knife, get somebody at home to take a butter knife and have them coming towards you nice and straight, and you just get to the flat. Let's see, I don't know if you guys can see. I'll do it on this side. So it's coming, I want to get to the flat of the blade. I don't necessarily have to be touching the blade, I just need to get to the flat, the side of that blade, to protect myself. If it's from behind, that's what most people are gonna ask about, right? If you get touched by it and it's from behind you, you need to move your body so you get to the flat of that blade, the flat of the blade. If you do what people typically do and you get stuck, what happens is you do this, that knife is going in, and then if it's long enough, it's coming out on the other side. This motion here needs to be transpired through the whole body and make you move. And you have to retrain your mind to do that. It's not a technique. It's just body control. So the guy comes to me with the knife, I move, and I can control his body, his structure through folding points. I'm gonna go through this really quick because I only got a little bit of time left. Folding points of the body, pause. Folding points of the body on everybody. Head, shoulders, elbows, wrists, hips, knees, ankles. Head and shoulders is one. Elbows, wrists, hips, knees, ankles. Every human has them. It's basically where the body articulates. You take one You take 2 to more folding points and put them in opposite directions, and it bends the body. Wrist and elbow, opposite direction. Wrist and hip, elbow and knee. Where the head goes, the body follows. That's on anybody. Same thing with the hips. Where the hips goes, the body follows. The guy comes to stick you with a knife or whatever you move, there's his wrist, there's his elbow. I push his wrist this way, his elbow that way, his body just goes. Opposite directions. And it didn't have to be that way. He can do the same little stab, right? I can go this way, and then I can just translate my arms in and send his elbow this way and his wrist that way. Look at his body. I got his spine, right? And then you always want to affect the lower part of the body, and then the body just goes. These are things anybody can do. It's not a technique, because your movement is going to be different than mine. You just need to understand the principles of movement. Get to the flat of the blade. Grab the firearm right quick. Let's do that real quick. Keep sticking. I'll just keep showing. Yeah. So if I'm in, I'm moving, boom, bam, smash, bing, 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 right? You stay with the guy. He goes to do a slash or stab or something. You don't want to let fear cause your body to freeze up. But if this is your initial motion, this is fine. This is what you do, but you can't stop moving. So in Systema, one of our 4 pillars is constant motion, like I told you at the beginning. Once my hand came up and it did this, I kept moving. I kept moving to take the knife. You can't stop. You can't. Stopping is death. Same thing if you stop your breathing, it's death. If a firearm, this thing shoots out a bunch of little knives, right? That's what bullets are to me. They're just, because they're hot metal. There's a bunch of little knives. The most dangerous part of this is being on this side of the barrel. Here I'm safe. Here I'm even safer. But here, I could be dead. What you want to do is never be in this situation, first off. But if you ever are faced with a firearm being drawn on you, you need to try to give the person what they want. A good rule to remember, though, is typically if a person is robbing you or brandishing a firearm towards you and they don't have their face covered, chances are they're going to shoot you anyway. So it is of my thought that fighting is the best option. You can comply with them, you know, and try, but watch them. And if they give you any indication that they're not going to keep their end of the bargain and just take what you give them and leave, then you need to work to get to the side of this weapon, get your hands on this weapon, and remove this weapon from the person. If he puts it on me somewhere, I don't know how. Yeah, so if it's close to you, this is actually ideal. It's much harder if it's further away, but you always want to comply, right? And I ask you, what is it that you want from me? He's going to tell me what he wants, and then, yeah, right? And so if it's a person let's say we don't have either of these, put those down. If it's a person and they have you in some sort of bad hold or whatever, right? So these guys both are, especially combined together, physically stronger than I am, but because I know folding points of the body, it's much easier for me to deal with their structure. And so it's not a strength thing, it's just understanding that where the joints work and how the joints connect to the spine. All I have to do is manipulate the joint to manipulate the spine, and by manipulating the spine, I can manipulate their structure. And so I gave you a lot. I know I gave you a lot to try to digest, but if you didn't get anything other than breathing, movement, keeping good posture, and keeping your mind and body calm, if that's all you got, that's all you need. So I really appreciate you having me this morning. If you guys want to reach out to me, the simplest way to get me is through my phone. Just text me, 905-5123. I answer all my calls. If you want to email me, you can email me at my Gmail. It's hatchersystema@gmail.com. And our website is hatchershouseofsystema.com. Thanks a lot. Oh, thank you.
Hey, you all. Thank you so much, Roy. Definitely appreciate that. It is important, especially during this time and in this moment, that we actually just breathe and take time to actually reflect, exercise, get our bodies back on track.